A little bit about that. Did things get a little bit personal now?
Yeah, a little bit more personal because, I did respect him. I don't respect him anymore because he say, I'm not going to do what they want me to do and this and that. And then
I just got off the phone from a press conference with Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. During the event, things got heated. Canelo ended up striking Crawford after another wild fight broke out in the crowd. Now, boxing officials are pushing for Canelo to face a fine for his actions, saying what he did crossed the line.
The shove, that moment that happened on stage.
Oh, I'm turning on right now.
Right? Yeah. Did it make you want to go harder for the 13?
I don't know, but made me feel more.
After the fight, Terence Crawford released a statement saying he would save his anger for fight night. He promised that Canelo Alvarez wouldn't stop him then, warning fans to just wait and see. At first, both fighters agreed there was no need for insults, but things quickly spiraled out of control. They began shoving, cursing, and even throwing objects at each other. The tension made it obvious that the fight wasn't just about boxing anymore. While officials kept asking them to calm down and show respect, the situation was clearly slipping out of control.
You know what I mean? I don't care about him down.
Can I just ask, obviously he pushed you at the last press conference. Do you think at that point you got in his head for that?
I don't know. I don't know what's in his head. I don't know what he's thinking about, So I don't know.
I don't know what's going on in his head or what he's thinking, one fighter admitted. But if things keep going the way they are, fight night could get out of control. Someone might get knocked out for the first time in their career, and the match may not unfold the way people expect. Adding fuel to the fire, Terence Crawford's coach took aim at Canelo right before the fight. Coach Brian "Bo Mac" McIntyre confidently predicted that Crawford would win big. "We're going to beat this wild dog," McIntyre said. "It won't be easy, but we're going to keep hitting him until we get the job done." Coach Brian McIntyre doubled down with confidence, saying, "I promise you this, watch what happens. I've never led you wrong. I warned people about Errol Spence Jr., but they didn't listen." McIntyre remains certain that Crawford will defeat Canelo, and Crawford himself made one of the boldest statements of his career, vowing to take Canelo down in their upcoming fight. Crawford, the former undisputed welterweight champion who has never lost, is preparing for Las Vegas. The 41-0 star says anyone betting on Canelo to defend his super middleweight title on September 13th is making a big mistake.
Nothing. You ain't no Bud Crawford. They don't have that mentality. Having that mentality and going upside the head.
Before his showdown with Canelo, Terence Crawford spoke to his fans back home in Nebraska, declaring, "All those doubters will be crying when they head home after the fight." During the press conference, host Todd Grisham asked both fighters how they felt about the upcoming match. Crawford kept it simple and confident. He said he doesn't worry about how the fight ends if it's close. What matters is controlling what he can. "I can't focus on the judges," Crawford explained. "I just need to rely on my skills and take care of business in the ring. That's how you win the battle."
And I meant that. Yes, sir. Make a beat that. Everybody's talking about the size and, me being a smaller fighter. But if you look on the stage, I've been sparring these big dudes my whole career.
"Any fighter can be knocked out," Crawford said. "Canelo has a strong chin, no doubt about it. He's tough. Sure, he's been hit before, but never in a way that really shook him. Still, under the right conditions, anyone can go down." Crawford made it clear that he plans to take control when it counts. "I've always handled my business, and Canelo won't ruin my moment. It's that simple." He also reminded everyone that moving up 2 weight classes to face Canelo proves how serious he is. "Canelo knows I'm going to be tough," Crawford added.
A lot of fighters would like to put on a weight restriction to this type of fight. Why didn't you want to do that?
Because I want him at his best. I don't want no excuses. I don't want no, reasons why, he didn't feel good or anything. I want him at his best.
When asked about his September 13th fight against the undisputed champion moving up in weight, Mexican superstar Canelo Alvarez said size wouldn't be an issue. He explained that he's faced similar challenges earlier in his career and knows how to handle them. "I'm not focused on that," Canelo said. "I'm here to do my job. I prepare for every fight the same way, no matter how big it is. I'm always thinking about winning because that's what I'm here for." Canelo added that the experience has changed his perspective and expressed gratitude toward Netflix, Turkey, and the fighters involved. "My main goal is to make history, and I'm thankful to be in this position," he said.
From memory, that you first thought this fight was a real possibility, that you started thinking about this fight actually happening?
Well, I started thinking about it, a couple of years ago when they started talking about Spence fighting Canelo. Then just, sizing him up, like, all right, how tall is he? How long his arms and things like that. Just sizing him up like that and going to his fights and things like that.
In the days leading up to the big fight, both fighters reached out to their fans to set the tone. "People know I'm always ready," one of them said. "I always bring my best. I just want to thank everyone for their support. It means a lot, and I hope they'll be there to cheer me on when I win." As Team Crawford traveled from Omaha, Nebraska to Las Vegas, the message was clear: confidence and pride. Crawford told his group to look sharp, promising his supporters that beating Canelo would be another major milestone in his career.
I think Canelo's not the same fighter. His punch output's a lot less. What do you think, considering, the last 12 months or so? Is he the same fighter he was maybe a few years ago?
I think he is. I just think, he just wasn't up for the skull fight. And I think, different fighters bring different, energies out of other fighters.
A lot of people are judging you on the Madrimov fight, saying you struggled moving up in weight. You're going further up in weight, and they're saying that's going to go against you based on the Madrimov fight. How do you
suit up? Because it's going to be an exciting day for boxing, Crawford said with confidence. "We're bringing more belts home. This fight is about making history, becoming the first three-weight unbeaten king in boxing. I mean that. Nobody can force me or teach me how to fight. I've been doing this my whole life, and I won't back down. I told you before, I'm going to touch him a lot in that ring." Heading into the Canelo clash, Crawford had built an incredible streak of 11 straight knockouts, showcasing his dominance. Still, the history between the two fighters adds weight to the moment. At 34, Alvarez also sees this fight as one that will be remembered. Reflecting on his career, he said, "This fight is important for history. I've been through tough battles before, and at the end of the day, winning is all that matters."
I called Canelo out because, like I said, he the last great fighter amongst the era that surpassed us. The Floyd, the Pacquiao, the De La Hoya. We both came up in that era, and he was right there with those fighters, and he got the chance to fight the Miguel Cottos, the Floyd Mayweathers, and the Kovalevs and Triple Gs, and I wasn't able to get those